Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by Stern Agee. Since 1901, they've been helping Americans plan and protect their financial futures. And for those of you with a young family, you moms and dads out there trying to plan for juniors' college tuition, time to start now because college tuition prices are going up, up, up. Stern Agee is a group that can meet with you, talk about your needs, talk about your desires, talk about your current situation, and help you build a plan to prepare for college funds moving forward. Stern Agee. All right, back with Bob, Sterling, Jimmy, Chuck. There were some folks this week that talked about Kentucky and Arkansas being ahead of Tennessee, and all it took was a simple check of the schedule, and it would have shown that Kentucky had beaten going into yesterday. They'd not beaten a team with a winning record. They'd beaten Louisiana Monroe. They'd beaten Ohio, Vanderbilt, the worst South Carolina team in 5 years, and UT Martin. Also, for those people saying Brett Bielema is so much better than Butch Jones, he's 0-12 in the SEC. Let's look at some numbers here just to compare these three guys. Bielema, who looks a bit like Curly Joe from the end of the Three Stooges. You realize Curly? Yeah. You see their overall records. Jones is a hair better. SEC records, Stoops and Jones better than Bielema. Can you imagine if Butch Jones had started 0-12? Their home record, Butch Jones is the best. Stoops hadn't won on the road. Not great for anybody. Power 5 teams, 2-11, 2-11 for Stoops and Jones, 1-13 for Bielema. Versus ranked teams, Bielema 0-10. Jones is 1-9, beat a top South Carolina team last year that finished with 2 losses. Stoops has only played 5 ranked teams so far. And then you see their record versus the top 10. Not great. Is any one of those guys ahead at this moment?
We'll find out in November. We play Kentucky head to head. We'll see. I like our chances, baby.
All right.
Can I go with a stat that wasn't on there to put Jones ahead? It's recruiting. I mean, that's where Jones is ahead of those guys. It's recruiting. I think if you go back, Tennessee's talent level when he got here was low. That's where I'll give Jones a pretty good edge.
You could argue that Kentucky had looked better. Okay, so after that point was made, I did go look at their schedule, and my determination is Tennessee would be 5-1 or 4-2 if it had played Kentucky's schedule. Both of them lost to Florida, and I don't know if Tennessee would beat South Carolina. So I think 5-1 or 4-2 is very safe to say Tennessee would have that record. But the other thing, Kentucky, did they look better? Yeah, because they looked better against an inferior schedule.
That's right. They played nobody. Aside from South Carolina, whose their defense is a nobody.
Right.
If that South Carolina game were in Knoxville, I would tell you right now it's a win. Their defense is as bad as Tennessee's offense, and I think Tennessee's defense is better than their offense.
But in terms of being relevant again, you have to give Stoops credit for what he's done at Kentucky and for bringing the excitement there. Where now maybe they are still talking a little bit about football instead of March Madness and midnight and all that other stuff.
He went 2-10 this last year. In terms of bringing the excitement, they were 5-1 against nobodies. So do you credit Stoops or do you credit whoever made their schedule out?
Both.
Let's put it this way. If Stoops had played Tennessee's schedule, you wouldn't have all the excitement and people going nuts in bluegrass land that you did. So part of it's schedule, I think. But my view is, wait till next year. I think it's too early to judge any of these guys in year 2. I think they're all going to wind up being pretty good coaches, personally.
And I think it's like Pearl says, too. Let's see what happens when they play head-to-head.
Yeah. Well, again, I still think even if Kentucky beats Tennessee, you cannot convince me that Tennessee's not on a better trajectory than Kentucky this year. But we'll see. All right, Alabama, we'll discuss coming back on the Sports Source.
Want your own man cave? Turn to Benedict Construction.